What's up? Welcome back to Employer Income Podcast. I am your host, Brian McGee, a.k.a. Mr. Monopoly, a.k.a. Honcho Mac. This is brought to you by and sponsored by Mac Home Renovations, where we teach you how to make your money work for you, turning your income into opportunities. Today, I have with me my guest, Brian Humphrey, my ace, Boone Cooney. Man,
Yes,
I
sir.
know Brian like since what? 10th grade?
Yeah.
They was trying to figure this out the other day, like 9th or 10th grade, back to the Largo Lying High School days, man. It's crazy.
Class of 2000.
Class of 2000. One of the things that we were talking about, man, is how like in the different phases of life, we still are able to connect at an extremely high level. You know what I'm saying? Which is insane and rare. So I appreciate my brother, man. I appreciate who he is in my life, man. And I just wanted to bring him on because Brian has been able to create some capital through some endeavors that we're going to discuss. And by him being able to create that capital, we have been able to partner on a real estate deal, you know, because that is my lane. And I presented an opportunity to him because that he had an interest in it. And so I came to him one day and said, hey, man, you ever thought about investing in real estate? And, you know, he had the capital to kind of partner with me on that deal. So that deal was like, man, they're putting floors down. I don't know if I told you that. Yeah. We're putting floors down now, which means that we are very close to completion. It's time to get another one. So we're going to get into, you know, how he was able to raise that capital. Because one of the things I want to bring to your attention is the multiple ways that you can create capital to kind of venture your journeys. To finance your journeys and to create more capital, man. That's what we all about. So, B, I'm gonna start off with, man. Tell me what is it that you do? What is your day to day? What is it that Brian Humphrey does?
I'm a foreman for electrical contractor.
Okay,
You know, I run electrical work. So I've been doing that for almost 20 years now.
crazy. I remember getting into that joint around the same time. I was going to school at Bowie, so I remember I was doing it during the summertime, coming in as an R1, and then
That's
when
funny.
the school schedule started, I couldn't do it anymore. But I remember those days. I remember being in like school buildings, running wire and all that, like tying in light switches and plugs and all that, which is crazy, man. But for 20 years, so how long have you been a foreman?
Really not that long, probably like a little over a year. Yeah, going on 2 years.
What's the difference between the two? Like from the side that you see now and the side that you were on before?
Man, before, you know, my tools were, you know, my hand tools, a drill. Now my tools are people. My tools are the people under. So I have to learn how to operate in that kind of lane. I got to learn how to work with people and really bring the best out of everybody. And that's a whole nother ballgame. And it's still that electrical knowledge, but you still, you know, I'm not putting in the work myself. You know, I'm getting to other people to do it and just building that and trying to do that at a high level every day. That's
you know, and I think that's something that we talk about often, and it's the ability to, you know, build a team and help a team work. You know what I mean? It takes a lot to, you know, have this going and that going and that going, all these different projects, and to make sure that each one is running smoothly.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like this can't be running smoothly while project B has its faults. Like each one has to be running smoothly, and you might have, you know, a set of people here, a different set of people here, and a different set of people here. And all of that has to work congruently. All of it has to kind of blend easily. And I think that your team, whether you know it or not, is a product of you. You know what I mean? They are. It's a replication of you. Because if it doesn't replicate you, then you have to find somebody who does replicate you. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, your name is on the line. You know what I mean? So if it doesn't reflect your morals, your values, and what you believe in, then you have to maneuver and shift to find those pieces that do. So ultimately, your team, you know, is a reflection of you. And if you do it right, if you do this right, man, they're willing to follow you
Exactly.
in whichever endeavor you want. And
Exactly.
I think that's what you want. You want to be a part of the team and not separate yourself from the team.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You want to be in the flow of what it is that makes that team a team. So what are some of the strategies that you use with your team to make those things flow?
It's kind of like you said, man. I try to come from the perspective of like we're a team, and I know like that everybody hears that. You know, everybody hears we're a team. Every business says we're a family, but it's got to reflect in how you interact.
Mm-hmm.
Like today, this is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I'm at work. We at the end of the day, and I got one of my guys. He's drilling holes through the floor for whatever reason, and he
You
drills.
said for whatever reason?
Well, I mean, I think it's something that y'all not gonna know. We putting in floor boxes.
Okay, I got
He's putting in floor boxes. You gotta cut a hole in the floor with floor boxes.
Mhm.
So he drills through the floor, doesn't check what's under it, and drills through a VAV.
Ooh.
Not into a VAV, which is bad enough.
You gotta explain.
But through a VAV. Okay, a VAV, that's one of the units that it's like an air conditioning unit, for lack of a better term, that pushes air through the system. So a brand new VAV, so brand new, they just put it up, didn't even wire it up.
Oh my gosh.
And drills through the motor.
Oh my, how
It's like
impossible is that?
Exactly. I mean, he just hit it right in the right spot and then just kept going, and kept going.
Jeez.
You know? So in a situation like that, I've tried to learn from perspective in it, you know, of years of doing it is everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said this one time, I forget who said it. It says either we're successful or we're learning. Not that, you know, we're successful or we failed. You know, it's either we're successful or we got an opportunity to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, like, me being a part of the team and not being above it, for one, you know, I have to take responsibility to a certain extent. Maybe I wasn't clearer. Maybe I wasn't making sure that what he was doing it properly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of responsibility I can take that. I got to look and say, okay, because I have done a better job of communicating. And also I take the responsibility of anything that has to be done to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to take the responsibility of making sure we don't make that mistake again.
Facts.
So what I try to do is look at it as a learning opportunity. Because getting mad and getting upset, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't accomplish anything other than me relieve whatever frustration I have. It doesn't make us better though.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to do. I want us to be better.
Facts.
You know, I'm trying to build a team that's better. So in situations like that, even though it's a bad thing, I try to look at it as a good thing. It's an opportunity for me to kind of show.
It's a teaching opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was listening to a speaker that said, to piggyback off what you said, he said, if you want to be great at something, you have to be willing to be not so good at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to be willing to go through the learning process of it. I think that a lot of times when people fail to get to that higher level of success is that it's like you said, you could say something that would alleviate your frustration. I think that a lot of people reach a point to where they get so frustrated that they feel like, yo, man, I tried. You know what I mean? Like this just is for me. I tried. It's not for me. I did this. I did that. I did that. But the thing is, do that again.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like do that again.
Yep.
Those things that you're doing correctly, man, and you're not finding the immediate success that you want. Do it again until you get that success. And I think it's that relentlessness that breeds the success, because you know what I mean, if you have a seed that is a tomato seed, right, and you put it in the ground and you water it and the sun hits it and you know what I mean, the different elements hit it that it needs to grow, when it sprouts it's going to yield tomatoes. It's a tomato seed. It's not going to yield cucumbers. You know what I mean? You will get from a tomato seed tomatoes. The problem is that once you plant that seed and you water it and you come back at day 2 and you don't see the sprout come up, or you come back at day 3 and you don't see the sprout, you come back 2 weeks later and you don't necessarily see the return from that seed, or it starts to sprout, but you don't see a tomato, you're like, man, this tomato seed ain't no good.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? This tomato seed ain't no good. But you just have to continue with the process, right? The more you continue with that process, you're going to get the results of the seed that you planted, man. Just stick with it. You know what I mean? It's not anything that's worth having that is long lasting is not immediate. It's going to take time to grow and cultivate. But once you have it, you won't lose it. Not only will you not lose it, but you'll have a greater appreciation for what you have. You know what I mean? So Brian is an electrician. He's a foreman, right? But Brian now is involved in real estate because of some of the moves that he's made. So what are some of the things that you were able to get yourself involved in that led you to acquiring capital to help you to invest in now a flip opportunity? So what are some of the things that you utilize? What's some of the avenues that you utilize? Because there are plenty of electricians out there that want to do real estate. There are plenty of, carpenters and all that want to move in this lane. So what are some of the things that you utilize to build the capital to be able to do so?
Okay, I mean, the first thing I did, which I think is the number one, I think the number one best investment you ever make is in yourself and knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that like there's the more you're able to understand money, the more you're able to understand how to manage money, the more you're able to make your money grow.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, it's a lot of people who get paid the exact same amount I've gotten paid over the years, more so, and still haven't been able to do it because they might not have the same
mindset.
knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And when you learn that, you can let it grow. So I've read a lot of books, and it came from me. I mean, I remember being like 18 years old and, dropping out of college because I didn't have money to pay for college. And, getting a bill. I think it was like $10,000 or $15,000 at the time. And then at that age, that might as well have been $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
The same.
It might as well have been $1 million. And just like, wow. So that going through that struggle and that stress, credit terrible, and I just got it. You know what I'm saying? I just got credit and I destroyed it. That process, that pain, that failure, like you said, you were talking about, that made me think, okay, like, let me learn. So I just started picking up books and reading books. And a lot of things I read talked about investing in two things, stocks and real estate, just having your hand in one or both of them. Because most really, really rich people are either rich from real estate
Facts.
or ownership. And I think people don't look at stocks as owning a business, but that's exactly what it is. A stock is a partial ownership of a business. So either owning a business or owning real estate are the ways to make a ton of money, unless you can get lucky and win the lottery. So just reading up on that, starting investing in index funds. And the thing about it is it's been a slow it's been a slow rise or a slow pace. Warren Buffett says the most guaranteed way to get rich is slowly over a long period of time.
Fact.
Slowly over a long period of time. I don't know any get rich schemes that work. I know. I mean, maybe, and that's not to say I wasn't looking.
No Fonzies.
It wasn't saying I wasn't looking. I wasn't trying. All of them, all of the like in a couple months, in a couple years, get this business, do that. I mean, sell this, do that. I tried some of them. They never worked for me. What worked for me is slowly over a long period of time. And just investments, starting an IRA account, starting other accounts where it's like $100-something a week, not even starting at that, like $75 a week or something like that. Just these small investments over a long period of time, and slowly but surely your money starts to grow. And living under your means. Like I bought my first house. It was way cheaper than I could afford. And I lived far.
Yeah,
I bought a house that was far, far away, but it was cheap enough that when I bought that house, I could save up to buy another house. And I could keep that house and then move in another house. And I had two houses. And then that one I bought cheap enough to where I could have a tenant in one house, have this house, and then buy another house. And that kind of, and as well as the slowly investing in stocks. And after over years and years and years, this isn't like over a month or 2 or 3 years. Of all these years, just the money just began to grow and grow and grow and grow. And like you always say, employ your money. And that's the thing, employ your money. And it's a lot of self-denial. Like they did this study, I think it's a video of these kids that they give these kids marshmallows, and they say and they just give it to them, sit in front of them, and say, "You can eat this marshmallow now, or you can wait, and if you don't eat it, we'll give you 2 or 3
I
marshmallows
remember seeing
later."
that. Yeah.
And the kids will be in there, and they leave the kids alone for a couple minutes, and you can see the kids just want to eat the marshmallow. They can't wait. And some kids eat it. But the kids that waited, they followed over time, and later on, the kids that waited and got to 3, they began to be more successful in life or accomplish a little bit more than the others because that self-denial for a little bit. Being
Mhm.
able to tell yourself no
Mhm.
right now
Mhm.
because you want the bigger thing later,
Mhm.
I think that's key. Like having down the road greed. That's what I call it, down the road. Like immediate greed isn't good. But if I consider myself greedy to a little bit, I want the 3 marshmallows. I
Mhm.
don't want 1 marshmallow.
Facts.
I want 3,
Mhm.
you know? And so I'm greedy in that sense. In that
Mhm.
sense, I want my 3 marshmallows.
Mhm. And I think that what you said is dope. I think that people want the success without the sacrifice, right? Like you want the accolades, but are you really willing to deal with living miles away from where you're comfortable with being at? Are you willing to, do that so that you can live below your means so that over time you could pick up another property? Like you want it, but you rush out and get that, that big house immediately. And now you're not able to invest any of your money. Now you're not able to employ your income because you're living above your means. Like it's cool. It's okay to live below your means so that you can rise, so that you can, in a sense, get those 3 marshmallows as opposed to 1. You know what I mean? It's not, you don't want to
100%.
necessarily get the dangling carrot. You don't want to get that thing that is right in front of you, but prohibits you from getting what might be ahead of you that you can't necessarily see. And it's understanding what money is, not only understanding what money is, but understanding how money works, right? I think that we have a bad uh, perception of what money is. We think money is a tool to make us happy,
Yeah.
right? And so when you use money as a tool to make you happy, then you can't use it as a tool to sustain you. You know what I mean? And build wealth. You know what I mean? It's cool to have it to satisfy you, but you want to have it, you want to acquire it over a period of time to where that money can satisfy you comfortably, right? So you got this pile of money working over here, this pile of money working over here, and then this pile of money working over here gets you all the toys that you want, right? But you still have these steady streams of income that you're utilizing because your money is working. You don't want to lock your money up or tie your money down because you got that 1 marshmallow too quick. You know what I mean? So somebody who's looking to um, get started in stocks, what's the simplest way that you can break that down to them so that they would be able to like find something tomorrow?
Go to Vanguard.com and get an index fund.
Mhm.
S&P 500 index fund. It's the most simplest stock. Do that and don't touch it. Like Warren Buffett said, if he was, if he leaves his wife money, he just going said take the wealth, put it in that index fund, and just let it eat. The reason the S&P 500 basically it gives you partial ownership of the top 500 businesses in the country. The
Mm.
United States of America is the strongest economy in the world, the strongest economy the world has ever seen. Its economy has gone through assassinations, terrorist attacks, everything. January 6th, everything, and it is still grown. It's still, I mean, so if you put it there, the top 500 companies in the strongest country in the world, that's what you're going to invest in.
Mhm.
And over the course of time, it grows and grows and grows. So that's stocks in Tesla, that's stocks in Apple, Google, like I said, the top Facebook, all of these companies and just let it grow over time. And the S&P 500, because it's ownership, it pays out what's called dividends
Mhm.
every 3 months, depending on how much you depending on how much you invest, you get money back. Is you
Mhm.
because like I said, you're a business owner, and what the businesses do is they go and they divest their earnings
Mm-hmm.
to their investors.
Mm-hmm.
So every 3 months they pay out, different companies pay out dividends. So you get more money every month. Now, when you get that money, you don't want to take that money because right now it's small money. You want to reinvest that money. And it's that slowly over a long period of time, because that's money going back to work that you didn't make. You know what I'm saying? That's money that initial investment you made,
Mm-hmm.
but those dividends that pay back to get reinvested, that's money you never touched. That's something you never had to do. And over the long period of time, it starts growing, and you have more money in there than you ever put in there. It more than doubles over a course of time. Usually, it takes about 10 years for what you invest to your initial investment to double, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow. And the great thing about it is, without you doing anything, this is just you not doing anything. Like today, so many people made so much money today in the stock market. It's not even funny. Every single solitary day, there's somebody making millions of dollars in the stock market. There's somebody and not doing anything. They're not breaking a sweat. They're not doing anything. They're just collecting the money. So S&P 500, go to Vanguard. Vanguard's got the cheapest. They have the cheapest charges. They charge you the least amount of money. Go on there and invest.
So what do you feel like 3 years from now, what would you say your 3 years financially and business-wise, what do you see that as? What does that look like to you, your 3-year goal?
My 3-year goal, I would say, I would first and foremost, and this is how I try to picture things, like me as a person. I want to be more effective whatever I do. I want to raise my ability to not only perform whatever I'm doing my business with excellence, but the ability to lead and inspire other people
Facts.
to be excellent at what they do. Now, financially, I hope that I quadruple in between that time. But there's a lot of factors in that I can't control. I can't control the economy. I can't control this, that, or the other. I can control my commitment to do a great job. I can control my commitment to learn, my commitment to get better. So that's the first and foremost. Like, I want to continue to push myself to learn, grow, and I hope I'm smarter. I'm more patient.
Yeah.
I hope I'm more effective.
Yeah.
3 years from now. But yeah, financially and as far as running a bit, man, I hope we killing it. I hope we killing the game.
Yeah.
I hope we I know that's not a figure amount, but I hope we killing the game. I hope everybody out there be like, man, I remember watching the podcast when they see our billboard.
Man.
That's what I hope. But yeah, I think, man, I think it's possible, man. All you gotta do is keep pushing, man. Keep pushing to be better.
Yeah. And I think we talk about that all the time, right? The importance of self-growth, right? Because business is one thing. Finances is one thing. But I feel like success follows the person, right?
Exactly.
Success follows the individual. There are certain people that you look at and you just know that they're going to be successful. It's because of how they carry themselves. It's because of their patterns. It's because of the habits that they've created. And success always seems to be with that person. But it's not by happenstance, right? It's through a continual practice of learning and developing and accepting things that need to be changed and changing them. I think that a lot of times it's difficult sometimes to accept that there are things that we could do better. Right? It's difficult to accept that you're not doing it right. And if you're too stuck on, but I am doing it right, then you just won't get it right. It's the humility of, I could be doing this better. Like, there is another level. I never want to be at a place, no matter what success looks like, where I feel like there's no room to grow. There's no room to elevate. There's nothing else to learn. I feel like learning keeps you growing. Learning keeps you ahead of the curve, because as time changes, information changes, and you have to stick with the information. I've never appreciated literature the way I do today, man. I never thought I would read as much as I do. But now that, and I tell people this all the time, like, I appreciate this age group. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate the 40s age group. And, you know, some people pick up things faster than others. You may pick up things in your 20s that, you know, most people get later in life. And if you did, man, kudos to you. You know, I feel like we've always had our head kind of on straight as, you know, in our 20s and stuff, but it's just a different level of understanding, you know, and acceptance of what information is, man.
Yeah.
If you can get the information and apply the information, there's nothing that you can't achieve. Who was it? Brian Tracy. I was listening to Brian Tracy this morning, and he said, you can have two people. One person acquire 10 different pieces of information that will make him better. And then you have the other individual who has one piece of information that makes him better, but he utilizes it. He is far more powerful than the person who picks up 10 pieces of information but never utilizes any of it. You know, it's the application of information that will help you to acquire whatever level of success it is that you're looking to come to. But I think that, you know, you have to be willing to learn from anyone.
Yep.
And understand that, like, there's anybody can teach you something. You can't be in a place to where you feel so highly elevated that you're like, man, you don't even do this. You know what I'm saying? You don't even, but it's like that, eat the meat, spit out the bones type of thing. And that's one of the things that I wanted to kind of touch on too, is mentality, man. What do you feel is the most, or one of the most important things to have when it comes to a person's thought process?
Kind of like you were saying, like, now that I'm older, kind of like you said, patience. Patience, man. Like, it's not going to happen tomorrow. Most likely. It's not going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, it's a process. And just not, you know, patience with the process, patience with yourself. Like, it's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen if you stay consistent. Like you were saying with the tomato plant, like, you know, it just takes time. If you think that if you water it tomorrow, the next day you're going to be eating a tomato, yes, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
You're going to be disappointed and you're going to be upset. But that's just not how it works. You know, it's not magic. You know, financial freedom isn't magic. You know, it's work. It's a process. It's a process. It's making mistakes. It's getting back up. You know, I would say the two things is patience and tenacity.
Facts.
And they go hand in hand.
I agree.
They go hand in hand. If you're not patient, it's gonna be hard to be.
All right, so real quick, we had a slight little hiccup with the audio, so what you're gonna hear may be a little bit different than the audio that was recorded previously. But bear with us, man. There's still some great content coming in.
To be tenacious, you know, it's gonna be hard because you got to have that. You know, the tenacity makes you work while you're not waiting, but work while you're waiting, but work through the time it takes. Like, if you're just patient and you're sitting back and not doing much, and that's one thing. But if you're tenacious and you're patient, meaning you're working vigorously and you're patient, you understand that it takes, you know, growth takes time. You know, that combination, that mentality, is hard to stop. Somebody that won't give up and they're patient for their success because they know it's coming, because they're not giving up. That person's hard to stop. You know, that person's hard to stop because every day they're getting better. Every day they're going because they're getting up every day and they're not stopping. You know?
And I think you have to be intentional, man. Like, one of the things that I take advantage of is waking up every morning and setting my intention for the day. I feel like if you don't set your intention for the day, then the day will set your intentions for you, you know, and you're kind of out there dealing with kind of whatever comes. Jim Rohn said, you can't control the wind, but you can control the sail, meaning that you can't control how the wind blows and navigates you, but you can control which direction you're going in by controlling your sail. It's the sail of the ship. So it's on us to stay grounded. And if you just wake up and go, that's a dangerous place to be in. If you're not intentionally saying, today, I'm going to accomplish this. Today, I'm going to be this. This is why, like, on my page, in my stories, almost every morning, my thing is, like, my motto is focus, king. It's time to be great. And I share that with most, but that's for me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's for me. Like, I'm really trying to focus on the goal, the big picture. I feel like you should have this picture in front of you, this poster in front of you, and put a piece to that poster, put a piece of the puzzle in place every single day. Have the wall, put a brick in mortar every day. As long as it's just one brick, long as it's one piece of the puzzle, just do that on a daily basis. And one day you'll step back and be like, yo, that's exactly how I saw it. That's exactly how I envisioned this picture being. But you don't realize it when you're just putting the pieces in place. So I would encourage you, don't just get up and walk out your house. Don't just get up and leave. Take a moment. Like, if you got to wake up earlier, wake up a little earlier. Get some alone time. Get alone with yourself and say, what is this day going to bring me? What will I accept from this day? And what won't I accept from this day? Every single morning. There's no days off in success. Your success doesn't care if it's raining, doesn't care if you came down with a cold, it doesn't care how you feel. Your goals are your goals, and your goals require whatever this is that it takes to get to your goals. Now, it's up to you to get all those things that your goals require in place or not. There's really, you know what I mean? But there's no in between. You can't say, I have this goal and not fill this up with whatever it takes to acquire your goal. It's no way to get here without going through here. You know what I mean? So take the time to be about whatever it is you say you're about, to be 10 toes, stand in it, you know what I mean? Become it and take advantage of your day. Don't let the day take advantage of you. What are some of because this is what I want to get y'all into too. I want to have like this part, a portion of the podcast where you can find something to order and look into, and that's books. That's something that we kind of touched on here today, literature, man. I've realized now more than ever how important literature is. So what would you say? We were actually talking to somebody on Wednesday about one of his most impactful books, and I ordered that. Then I was talking to you about a book, and I ordered that. If you tell me it's a good book, I'm going to order it and stop flipping and read. And it's actually a very good book. But what is, and I'll touch on that, but what is or give me top 3, your top 3 books that you would recommend to anyone?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with finances. I'm gonna say The Millionaire Next Door. That's my number one. The Millionaire Next Door. The Automatic Millionaire.
Haven't read that one yet.
That's another one. And I don't want to say Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because so many people say that.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of another one that like, those are my top 2.
Okay.
Those are my top 2.
Okay.
The rest stuff, I mean, I guess Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
All right, so say those 2 again. Which 2 of those?
The Millionaire Next Door and The Automatic Millionaire.
All right, I would say Think and Grow Rich is because it deals so much with mentality, man, and how you view things. Like I have so many highlights in that book. Think and Grow Rich. The One Thing, like I said, Rich Dad Poor Dad, I feel is an amazing book. Atomic Habits is another one. Think and Grow Rich, The One Thing, Atomic Habits is great. And then the book that I'm reading now that you recommended to me, suggested, was Excellence Wins. Excellence Wins is by the co-founder, right? Is he a co-founder?
Yeah, co-founder, yeah.
Of Ritz Carlton. And I'm like 75% through that book, and that joy is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of it's certain books that's just easy to read. You know what I mean? That just grabs your attention. It's certain books that you read and you're like, let me hurry up and finish this joint because I started the process. But Excellence Wins, if you are in if you have your own business, whatever the business is, and life, honestly, but it really helps you it teaches you how to work with clients, how to make sure that the client is satisfied. You know what I mean? And I have a great appreciation for that book, and it shows how the Ritz-Carlton and why the Ritz-Carlton is the Ritz-Carlton. And there's so many things that you can adopt as a business owner that will help to take your business to the next level. There are things that are in that book that I was utilizing that I didn't realize that I was utilizing already. But reading that book helped me to become more intentional about utilizing certain practices and being aware of it and making sure that I did it more on a regular and daily basis, man. And I try to make sure that, especially now since I've extended a new branch to my business, which is dealing with clients, I make sure that I check with the client every day. Like, are you good? Is everything cool? Is everything satisfactory? Are you happy? Like, that's something I ask the client almost every day. Are you happy? And I feel like if you do that, you kind of get ahead of the mistakes. And even if you get them, even when you make a mistake, the client is more willing to work with you because you care. You're not just in there like, ripping out the old drywall and then putting in new tile, or ripping out the old cabinets and putting in new. Like, I care about the process genuinely. And when you do, the client sees that. And so if there is an error, they're like, yo, just this, take care of this and that. Done. You know what I mean? It kind of, it levels the playing field, so to speak. But that's another great book. But one of the reasons I feel like this literature is so important is because another one of the speakers that I listened to, he said, man, listen, billionaires have written out the blueprint on how to become a billionaire. Millionaires have written out their blueprint on how to become a millionaire, and people won't read it.
All right.
like they've written out
That's crazy.
the steps, the procedures, do this, and then do this. After you do this, do that, right? Once you get there, do this, and people won't read it.
Oh, and it's like $15.
It's like $15. My thing is this, man. Most of the things that successful people practice across the board, a lot of them are similar and practical. It's things that you can do today. It's some of the things we discussed. It's waking up early than most people. It's reading, and it's learning how your money works, right? Also, another thing that I think that people take for granted is finding ways that you can help someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like finding ways to be a benefit to somebody else's life, which is why I try my best to do something. I try not to broadcast it, like record it, like, hey, look at that. You know what I mean? I try not to be that dude. If I do announce it, the only reason I try to announce it is to help people to give other people an opportunity to give. But I don't want to be the dude out on the street, like, look at me, give this, you know what I'm saying? But I do feel like that's a very important aspect of business because, you know what I mean? The giver will continually have an opportunity, the ability to give. If you're a giver, you'll always have the ability to give because, you know what I mean? Once you give that out, I feel like it just comes back to you. You know what I mean? So what are some of if you could break them down, key principles that you live by for success? And give us like one or two of those.
Okay. I would say this kind of goes back to what you were saying. I would say probably one of my number one is, slowly every day try to push towards a goal. Like as, one thing I really appreciate now is doing things that kind of teach me a certain mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, going to the gym and, like maybe a couple months ago, me and my wife, we got a puzzle, like a 5,000 piece puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And she had done a bunch of puzzles before. I would see her doing a puzzle. I don't know how you can sit there on them pieces. It would be like that. It would be hard for me to do that. It was hard for me to do that. But one day I decided, I'm going to sit down, just put this puzzle piece together. And like, it's just to have that picture. It's just like you said, you have that picture of what it's supposed to look like. But you got these thousands, hundreds of pieces of puzzle pieces, and you got to slowly, bit by bit, and slowly as time goes on, you got like this cluster of pieces and that cluster of pieces and that cluster of pieces. And next thing you know, you look up, they all connected, and you have that picture, but you did it one piece at a time.
Facts. That's life, bro.
One at a time.
That is life.
That.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like moments like that, doing stuff like that gives me that perspective that I didn't have when I was younger. You know, when I was younger, I saw the piece, that picture, and it was like, okay, I want that picture.
Yeah.
But it's really the process. You know, you got to want the process. You know, you got to want that.
Enjoy the
Exactly. Because that process, your journey is your life. Your journey to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve, whatever you're trying to do, that's the life you're living. And if you're not enjoying that, if you're not enjoying your pursuit, you know, it's not enough to pursue something you enjoy. You have to enjoy the pursuit.
I feel like if you're not enjoying the process, then you won't enjoy the goal. Like even when you get there, it'll kind of be like that. All right, you know what I mean? Like
He was like that.
You have to learn to appreciate the process that it takes to get there, because all of it is making you better. Like every part of that process is making you better. It's transforming you without you even necessarily knowing it, as long as you allow it to. So a key point, I think, is to enjoy the process. You know what I mean? So that's one. What would you say is another?
The other thing I would say is, and this is nothing I'm learning now, is that everything else is external. You have to be at peace and enjoy yourself, because you're the only person you got to deal with 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can get away from any and everything else, any and everyone else, but yourself. So being comfortable with, and this goes back to enjoying the process. Make sure you live in the life and you're pursuing something, you're enjoying the pursuit. You know, make sure, and to me, that's the key of a broader sense of success. Because like you said, man, there's so many people that's rich that's not happy. There's so many people got all this money.
Because that's all it was about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you get it and it's like, oh, crap. You know, well, yeah, exactly. Just because I'm rich now or quote unquote successful now, that still don't mean I love me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's what I think are two big keys for me. Because I think if I'm enjoying my journey and I enjoy myself, you know, that I'm successful. I'm successful. I'm enjoying my journey. I'm learning. I'm pursuing a goal I want, but I'm enjoying pursuing that. And I'm at peace with myself. I know it. To me, I'm happy.
All right. So y'all heard it here first, man. Listen, I implore you to get some of these books, to start learning, to start really, truly enjoying the process. You have been tuned in to another episode of Employ Your Income Podcast. Stay tuned, man, because we coming with another one as we, you know what I'm saying? Thanks.